You know those moments, the pressure's on, a big choice is staring you down, and you just want to make the right call. But we so often second guess ourselves, right? Well, what if there was a system to cut through all that noise? In this explainer, we're going to break down a 4-step guide to do exactly that. Does this sound familiar? I mean, who hasn't felt this? It's that nagging voice that always seems to show up after you've already made the call, telling you everything you should have done differently. Yeah, it's that sinking feeling in your stomach where you just wish you had a rewind button. It's frustrating for sure, but it's a totally universal part of being human. But here's the thing. What if you didn't need a time machine? What if you just needed a framework? A clear, repeatable process that helps you stay in control and make a choice you feel good about, even when things are hitting the fan. Okay, so before we dive into the full 4-step model, let's start with one single idea. It's incredibly simple, but trust me, it's powerful enough to completely change how you look at your goals. Look at the difference here. I'll try to get in shape is, well, it's a wish, isn't it? But I will lose 3 kg. Now that's a plan. Just by adding a number, you turn this vague hope into a concrete target. And all of a sudden, your daily actions have a direct, measurable link to where you're trying to go. Let's just take that number, 20. Suddenly, making a decision gets way simpler. When you're tired and don't feel like it, the question isn't some fuzzy, should I work? It becomes, hey, if I skip today, will it stop me from hitting 20? That kind of clarity just cuts through the excuses and tells you, plain and simple, what's a no-go for the day. So this idea, this power of creating clarity with a number, that's our foundation. Now, let's build the full 4-step model right on top of it. This is your toolkit for handling pretty much any decision that comes your way. And here is 4 steps. Think of this as your go-to toolkit. I don't care if it's a small daily choice or a massive life-altering one. These steps give you structure right when you need it most, and they help make sure your thoughts and your emotions are working for you, not against. So step 1 is all about getting a really clear snapshot of where you're at. Before you can make a move, you have to assess the situation. You got to ask yourself, what's my actual goal here? How much time do I have on the clock? Am I calm or am I kind of freaking out? Answering these honestly is absolutely the essential first step. Now, this brings us to a really key insight. Our brains have 2 different gears for thinking. You've got your slow, analytical, pros and cons mind. That's system 2. Perfect for big, complex stuff like buying a car. And then you have your gut instinct, system 1, which is lightning fast, totally automatic, and it's what kicks in when you have to slam on the brakes. The secret superpower is knowing which gear to use for the situation you're in. And check this out. It's a perfect example of System 1 in action. Think about veteran fire commanders. They are not making pro-con lists while a building is about to collapse. Their brains use something called prototype recognition. They instantly match the current crisis to patterns from their past experience to make split-second life-saving calls. Their intuition isn't just a random feeling. It's a highly, highly trained skill. And that idea of trained intuition leads us perfectly into step 3, managing your emotions. Because here's the thing. Emotions aren't the enemy of good decisions. They're data. That anxiety or that excitement you feel, that's your body telling you something important. The real secret is to learn how to use it as fuel instead of letting it hijack your brain. This is wild. Think about firewalkers. Researchers found that they get into what's called a high arousal state. It's this intense mix of anxiety and excitement. But instead of freezing up, their bodies actually channel that feeling. They get a rush of endorphins that helps them do something that seems impossible. What feels like stress can literally become your superpower. So how can you do this? How can you channel your own energy? Well, you can create your own high by linking small rewards to your progress, or find a routine, like a specific song that flips your on switch before you get to work. And hey, if the stress gets to be too much, just step back, take a deep breath, do a quick stretch, or even just scribble down your worries. It can totally reset your system and put you back in the driver's seat. Okay, finally, we get to the step that turns a one-time win into a long-term skill. This is the part that guarantees you don't just make one good decision. You actually become a better decision maker over time. And the key is really simple. Just reflect. By keeping a basic journal like this, you make your own thinking visible. You can actually see why a decision worked out or why it didn't. Was your gut right that time? Did your deep research pay off? This simple little habit turns every single choice, good or bad, into a priceless lesson for the future. So we've covered the what and the how of this whole model. But let's take a quick peek behind the curtain at the science that ties it all together. Why do our brains default to gut feelings under pressure? Why do firefighters and firewalkers act the way they do? Well, the science shows us exactly what's going on inside our heads. As stress goes up, our brain automatically shifts away from that slow, deliberate thinking and moves right toward fast, intuitive reactions. It's a built-in survival mechanism. So the big takeaway here is this. Don't fight your brain, learn to work with it. We know that pressure is going to push us toward intuition. So the entire point of this framework is to make sure that intuition is as sharp and as reliable as it can possibly be. You're not trying to shut down your gut feeling. You're training it to be your expert co-pilot. Okay, so how do you put all this into practice? How do you actually get started? It's probably a lot simpler than you think. Look, this isn't about making some crazy jump from 0 to 100 overnight. It's about building the right foundation, managing your state, understanding how you think, so that you can grow from a level 10 to a level 100. Progress is a process. It's gradual. So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Let's forget the whole 4-step model for just a second and go right back to the beginning. Think about your most important goal right now. What is the one number that would bring total clarity to your next big decision? Find that number, and you've already taken the first step.